810 Central Avenue. Now, I would just like to know if there's a date that, for the new roof to be on the building on Bow Mill Road. We've been looking at that blue tarp, I believe, for a couple of years now. And I'd like to know, I know the superintendent that was previous here had 3 different estimates. Nothing was ever done. I'd like to know why. It's an eyesore. We are 1 square mile. It's terrible. I'm part of the beautification committee since 1995. There's no excuse. I would like to know when it's going to get fixed.
Mayor, if you'd like me to address that. You're correct. We had quotes previously and were lined up to have the contractor perform the work. That contractor ended up not being able to do the work in the process, and those quotes were received last fall. We were ready to do the work at that time. The weather set in and the roof repair was not done. That work has now been refocused, and we expect to have that done within the next few weeks.
Okay. And then also talking about the flooding, there's also the professional building on Park in 71 with sandbags. Are we going to have to look at those sandbags all the time? Something with the dip in the road there?
Well,
like that's, I mean, I don't live on that road, it shouldn't be my concern, but it is an eyesore.
There are several areas that have localized flooding that occur whenever we have torrential downpours like we had today. That's one of them. As best we can determine, Park Avenue was reconstructed a few years back. As part of that reconstruction, curbing was installed on the north side of the street, but there were no drainage upgrades done at that time. That improvement, together with the redevelopment of that property that's on the corner of Park and 71 and the reconfiguration of the driveway, has resulted in the relative ease for water that's coming down Park Avenue on its way to Route 71 being diverted into their driveway. During today's storm, Mr. May and I were both out there. We have done some preliminary work to alleviate the condition, but frankly, it's not enough. And particularly in light of what we estimate was a 2 to 3 inch downpour today during a very short period. So we're looking at alternatives, but it looks like that as well is a not an easy fix, but it's something that will have to be addressed.
Okay, and also my third question is to beautify the town. Our town sign that was in front of our building right here, that's been gone for a year now since Sandy. Is that going to be replaced?
It is as well. We've actually solicited quotations for that, for a different type of sign to be installed actually on the face of the building. That was part of the Sandy damage. We have received authorization and funding for that replacement. So we will be presenting a proposal to the council once we see what the quote looks like.
Okay. And there was one other question about beautification. It just seems there's a little misunderstanding about a communication committee. There seems to be other people that were appointed. They meet every month, and they meet in a bar. They meet at St. Stephen's. They had called me to join them. We do not conduct any kind of town business in a bar. We have the Borough Hall here available and the community center. So this group of people that are in this little, whatever they're appointed, it's embarrassing to me that they're part of the beautification because that's not how we do business. When we started this that many years ago in 1995, it was to do a pretty wreath on the door, a pretty flower pot. It wasn't a big renovation. It wasn't a lot of money. If we were allocated $1,000, John would know, $2,500, $2,000 over the years. That was it. It was for something small. It wasn't the cake per se. It was the icing on the cake. It was a little, now and then, little decoration with the seasons. So whenever this group of people had contacted me, and I said, absolutely not, we do not meet there. So I was not part of that, just so you all know that, because I've been doing this since 1995. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you want to comment on that? Sure.
Yes, I would like to comment.
Sure.
There was
somewhere along the way, they said I resigned, and I did resign.
Yes, have been to several beautification committees. There was one meeting that was in February because of the cold. This winter was very cold. That it was at St. Stephen's.
Well, and what the
chairman of the bought for lunch for everybody, and you were invited. I just want to point out, Kathy, that you were the chairwoman of, and over, people have quit because they haven't been called for meetings. You've never called a meeting.
We don't need a meeting once a month.
Last year, you never called one meeting, and there are several people that will come and testify and say that they've called and wanted to meet.
That is fine, let them do it. You know what, over the years, we've done those projects we wanted to do. You call yourself improvement then. How dare you take beautification away from a committee? I had started a lot of girls were involved. Since then, they moved away. But my point is, we do not meet in a bar. I don't care if it's cold, snowing, ice. There's no reason why you have to meet.
I'm just pointing out that you're saying it was every time. It was once. And since then, they have met at the community center. And they haven't been meeting every month.
Okay.
All right?
Well,
so,
I got that.
but you have been invited, and you have never shown up.
Right.
And when you were the chairwoman, you never called a meeting once. So nothing was done last year at all.
Right. No, we do our fundraiser and
No, there's nothing done as far as the committee was concerned at all.
Well, everything is done. Over the years, the mayor did the flower pots. That's what we were originally doing, the flower beds. Now the gentlemen do the flower beds. So what do you want us to do, Patty? The town is beautiful.
I can name, member, no,
We have one
wait, I
question.
just want to say,
We
I
have
can
one
name
question. Do you
member
meet in the
after
bar?
member that had
Do you-
resigned because you never called a meeting.
Excuse me.
Years.
Excuse me.
5, 6, 7 years. People that resigned,
Judge,
you
you
never
want to
called a
remove
meeting.
her, please?
Thank you.
Are you ready? Yes, I'm serious. When I gavel you, it means to stop talking. That's
I
what
mean, I apologize.
Thank you. Question, I think, the only question she asked was if do they continue to meet in the bar? Yes or no?
No, she didn't answer.
End of story, yep.
She didn't answer. Accusation.
Anyone else like to speak? Yes.